Hello everyone and welcome to the workshop. In this video I'm going to talk about creating videos for your Etsy store and how I made this DIY camera dolly for less than 50 bucks. Now I do actually have, I don't know if you can see in the background, but I have a green screen area in the workshop with a Lazy Susan, and I can take product videos with that, but the product turns and the camera stays still obviously. And my products, like these cleats on the wall, actually look better if they're videoed in situ. So I've made this track where the camera sits on top of here and goes around like so, and I can shoot the product in situ. And you too may have a particular application similar to this, so I'll tell you how I made this. Now this is just a piece of 6mm MDF. I had this already, so it didn't cost me anything, but a sheet like this might cost you $10 or $15. It's 4 foot by 2 foot 6, 1200mm by 800mm, something like that. And I'm using 15mm PEX, the water pipe. I had a load of this up in the loft. You know, if you've ever done any PEX installation, you will have some lying around somewhere. It doesn't matter what diameter that you're using. I started off by putting a nail in the center of the board, so 600mm or 2 feet in, a little bit away from the edge. And I started scribing lines to see what sort of arc I could get. And to begin with, I thought I'd come right out to the edge, but I actually got a shorter arc, obviously, because it was a bigger radius. So I played around a little bit and I settled on this dimension. Not entirely sure what that is. It's probably around 2 feet, a little bit more maybe. Best thing is to experiment somewhat. And I put a nail here, as I said, and then I just scribed around some lines. And then I scribed 15mm slot, so to speak, and I drilled a hole through the middle of the MDF where the two 15mm lines were, a hole through there, 2mm hole, and screwed up from underneath with 20mm screws. And then I worked my way along, one here, one here, one here, and one here. Probably got 4 or 5 screws in this distance. Did the same here. So I then had my first arc. Now let's talk a little bit about the skate dolly. I bought this on Amazon for €20, and you need one where the axles can be angled. So once I had the first piece of PEX in, I set my axles so that they would run around the track, and then I started marking out where my next piece of PEX would go. And once again I screwed down, drilled down with a 2mm drill bit, screwed up and went round a piece at a time, so I got this track. Now it doesn't have to be super accurate, but it's going to follow the track pretty much, you can see. So this skate dolly comes with this articulated arm, and I struggled to get my camera level and square and so on with this because it's articulated in 3 places, and I didn't find it very useful. You can probably see that a bit better there. So I changed to this. I bought this one, which is telescopic, goes up and down, not a lot of range, but you know, some, which is more than this had because this was changing the radius each time I moved it around. This was $15, so the skate and this upstand altogether I'm in for $35. The board, let's say that's $10, so I'm at less than $50 or €50. The important thing to bear in mind here is that where you put the nail and your track, that's the focal point of the camera. So if I'm going to take video of this, I move this point so it's in the middle here, and then when the camera goes round, this object will stay in the middle of the shot. So that's how I started. There are a couple of other things to bear in mind. Before you shoot, you want to make sure that your board is level. And if it isn't, you can use some shims that they sell in most hardware shops, these plastic shims, just to make sure that you're level so that your horizontals are looking nice and square. So that's how I started. One other thing that I use is a bubble level. You can get these on Amazon. I already had this. They're relatively cheap. They fit in the hot shoe of the camera, and so you can tell that things are nice and square. It's very important to get the camera set up square to what you're photographing if there are any straight lines on the product, or you're going to see some wobble. Now, talking about wobble, I got a fair amount of vibration and wobble with using this. It's cut down a hell of a lot by using this upstand, but I still get some wobble. These wheels aren't rubber, that there's no suspension going on here, so you do get a bit of wobble, but I'm using CapCut and they have really good image stabilization settings, so you can just go in and stabilize the image. No matter what you're using for post-processing, they're almost certainly going to have some stabilization, and it comes out, you wouldn't know it was wobbling at all. It's really good. So that's how I started, and then I thought, well, what I would like for some of my product photographs is a panning shot. So what I did was I screwed a piece of PEX straight to the edge of the board. Now, if you've ever used PEX, you know it doesn't like being straightened. So I've actually used quite a few more screws in this, probably just maybe 3 inches apart, the screw, 75mm, so I could get it as straight as possible. And then I'll straighten up the axles, put it in the middle here, fit this one, and go along so I get the right distance. And as you can see, this goes up and down, and now I can pan along and take video like this. So all in all, I'm really happy with this solution. It's very easy to make. This maybe took me an hour, and a fair chunk of that time was working out the radius that I wanted to use. It's fairly easy to store, and it's given me some great shots, and I'll put in a couple of shots now. You know, it's not cinema quality maybe, but it's still better quality, or it shows off my products better than when I was using the Lazy Susan and green screening and putting a dead background in behind my products. I mean, they looked okay, but this looks better in my case. So if you're looking to build, if you're looking to improve your Etsy video, this is a good way of doing it for some people. And if you're looking to create a homemade DIY camera dolly for not much money, this is a really good solution. I mean, you know, a slider of this size would cost quite a bit more, and I've got the curvature. So I hope you found this video useful. If you did, please like and subscribe, because that really helps a new channel like mine. I've been Alan, you've been watching, and I'll see you in the next video.